Mathekton is a single-player game about creating and solving math problems. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can play this game. So when you're on the website, you will be faced with this interface. So we can start with creating a new game and name it, for example, Game 1. And we get to this table. So this is the menu which will help us build our collection. So as you can see on the top right corner, our collection is empty at the beginning. So we are going to ask mathematicians to help us with creating a new problem. So we can start by picking a mathematician card from the deck to get instructions. Mathematician cards give you instructions to create or solve problems in different ways, and some of them have a special power. So for this game, I think I'm going to pick Euclid, so create a geometry problem. So once you have selected a mathematician, you can find it again in the album. In the album, you can see all mathematicians that you have collected so far. And if you click on a mathematician, you will see additional instructions as well as a nice little biography of the mathematician. So Euclid asked us to create a problem related to geometry. So at this stage, especially if you're a beginner in math, or even if you're quite experienced, it's possible that you have absolutely no idea how to create a problem, and you have no ideas at all. And that's perfectly alright. To start with, you can pick one problem from this book called Initial Problems. Just to showcase how it's done, I'm going to pick this first problem, which happens to be a geometry problem. When you have chosen your problem, or created one, you can click on the Add Problem button right here under the album. So now it says that we have one problem in progress. And now we have to write down the problem somewhere in our collection. So you can build your collection with pen and paper, there is no problem with that. For me, I like using a note-taking app like Obsidian. So Obsidian is free and I find it very practical because you can write directly in LaTeX in it. So we are going to create a new note which will contain our problem. Call it Geometry Problem. And you can write the problem inside of it. Okay, so this is our first problem. And we will add many others. We could start solving it, but we could also add another problem. It's really up to you what you want to do. So I think it's always a good idea to have many different problems going on at the same time, so you never get too focused on just one problem and maybe you lose interest if you're stuck or if the problem is a bit too difficult. So at the beginning, let's say 5 problems is a good idea to start. So I'm going to add a new problem. So I will pick this mathematician. I have no idea how it's pronounced. I think it's Yao, maybe. Sorry if I butcher this. So create a problem of your choice. I think I have an idea for a problem, so that's fine by me. So I thought for a bit, and this morning I had the idea of drawing this kind of shape, which I will call funny drawing, but maybe it has another name which I'm not aware of. I didn't do any research. So of course it's not super well defined yet, but it's okay, I will improve the definition later when I'm a bit more familiar with it. So now I'm going to think a bit about what kind of problems would be interesting with this object, and I will see you in just 1 second. I realized that there was a way to number the crossings, or let's say to number the path based on, well, I'm going to show you an example, it's going to be easier. So the path crosses first 1, then 2, then 3, then it goes back to 1, 2, and 3. So this one we could call it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's, I think, a good start. It's very interesting. So I think I've come up with a pretty interesting question, which is, given a sequence, can you create a funny drawing which has this sequence? Well, and I think the answer is no, obviously, but maybe I have to define this question a bit more clearly. But in any case, this video is not about this specific problem or this specific game, but just to show you a bit what would be the way to create new problems and start thinking about them. And then each time you're stuck, you can switch to another problem and keep this one for later. In order to create a lot of problems, my favorite strategy is just writing down anything I don't understand and trying to really think about everything that's not completely clear to me, and very quickly you will see that there are hundreds of interesting questions, and sometimes questions that are not very interesting, but it's still worth it to write them down. So maybe just to show you one last example, I will pick a new card. And so this time it's a solve card. So on the contrary to the create cards, you have some cards which tell you how to solve some problems. Do it in this video, but I'm just going to show you what to do when you finally solve a problem. You will have to click the solve button on the bottom of the album to tell the game that you've solved this problem. And then maybe in your collection you can add a little color to indicate that you've finished this problem. You don't need to look at it anymore, and it's going to be nice to have a lot of green problems that start growing in your collection, which means you've done a nice work. To conclude this video, I'd like to say that Mathekton is a very subjective game. You should be very flexible when you play it. If a card doesn't work, it's okay, you can just keep it. The only goal is to have fun creating and solving nice problems, and that's it. So I hope you enjoy the game.